Welcome to the Gals Guide podcast. Join us on an adventure to get to know famous and infamous women from around the world. Each of our presenters has a pick. Is she ancient history? Is she breaking news? Is she safe for work? Well, that's up to each presenter. All we know is that...
Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
Welcome back. I'm Katie, and I'm joined by Rimu, Debbie, and Bonnie sharing our equality pick. You already hopefully listened to Rimu's intensive, emotional,
Yes.
profound,
Yes.
special recording on
Madge.
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 That's such
She's
a cool
like,
name.
It is.
Madge.
It needs to actually come back.
Yeah, I feel like it's a little like Madonna, too. Like
It is.
because you say Madge and you just see the KKK crumbling
Right.
under her.
Exactly. Under her superpowers. Yeah, this is
Okay.
true. Yep.
And then we heard from Bonnie sharing about Mary Elizabeth Bowser and Debbie talking about Franny Lou Hamer.
Yes.
Fanny.
But before I share my gal with you, I need to know something rebellious about our gal pals.
Woot.
I want to know what is one area, and this will be hard, where you see inequality in your life or in your community. I'll even give you two if you want to give me a life.
Oh, look at that.
If you want to give me a life and a community, I will be
All right.
generous.
Yeah, yeah.
However, you may also option
Ooh.
only one.
Yeah, this is
give it
is
to me.
the tough one.
Well, I've got one, so I'll start.
Yes. Go for it. Yeah.
Because that's been kind of a recurring theme with me, actually. And that's, especially with what's going on, how women have been cultured to be the pure and quiet and demure, and if you know me, you know I'm not.
And we love you for it.
I've never been that, but I always got a lot of trouble for it. Why do you tell these things? Why do you say these things? Why do you
squish down? Yeah.
But I'm not. Yeah, I was always othered for just considering myself as my opinion's as important as anybody else in the room.
As equal.
And and it bugs me that once again women are being encouraged to just stay
Make
quiet.
themselves smaller.
Yeah, I heard somebody ranting on Facebook about Billy Graham and the Billy Graham rule, and of you never meet, he never met with a woman without someone else being present, and I'm like, dude,
right?
Yeah,
why?
Why do you think what do you think is going to happen?
Right?
Do you not trust yourself?
Right? Yeah.
You know what I. And then I liked Billy Graham. I did.
Yeah.
But he had some really old-fashioned, asinine ideas about women, and I'm tired of it.
There you go.
You're tired of being tired.
Some excuses
I'm
to be around a bunch more men, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. This is very
Maybe that's
true.
why I was hung around with more men than women.
Who knows? I mean, when you know better, you do better, to quote Maya Angelou. So yeah, we're all a work in progress. Oh my goodness. I'm trying to think if I have one, maybe two. All right. Inequality in life and community. I'll go with community first. I mean, as of right now, the Gals Guide Library is still the only public LGBTQ meeting space in Noblesville.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, we are still the only one. And I say public because the high school does have support groups, but they're not open to the public, obviously.
Yeah.
They're for students. But so in our community, we are still the only one. And we don't have a Pride Day. We don't have a Noblesville Pride or a Noblesville
this
Festival.
was my first thought, too, on this subject.
Exactly.
Because I live in Noblesville, as you do, and it's just shameful.
Right, exactly. It's like, hold on here, what? So that would be my community one. In life, it's got to be women's history. I mean, it's what I'm steeped in all times, and I see so many different dynamics of inequality for women's voices, for women's history, for women's wisdom, and just also for women's sense of self as well. So something we're all actively fighting at this table. Yeah. Which is great. Bonnie, what about you? What is one, maybe two?
I'm going to go with
Maybe
things
7?
that I'm seeing slowly crumble in front of my eyes.
Yeah.
For inequality, we're going to pick the, what was that called? Is it the SAVE Act, is I think what they're calling it?
Yes.
Where it's going to require that your name match your birth certificate, which is greatly going to affect women who often change their name after marriage.
Yeah.
There's nothing in there that says you can provide a marriage certificate or a change of name to back it up. And what's funny is it's going to probably disproportionately affect conservative women who voted for this.
Yeah. So that'll be
this is very much my year of, I hope you get everything you voted for.
Fair. Yes.
And then also today they were talking about dismantling the Department of Education.
Right.
Which, on one hand, I'm like, there's a chance my student loans could just magically disappear.
Yeah.
But on the
other side, education.
I worry about, and they're doing the same thing locally here in Indiana. They're wanting to just gut public schools, but then also give federal funding to private schools.
Yes.
But I'm sure they're also not going to hold them up to the same standards as the public schools with making sure that they can't not make accommodations for students who need assistance.
Yeah. I once gave a speech in Michigan, which was, it was in the outskirts of the University of Michigan, so a lot of intellectuals. I met one of the ladies at a convention, and she's like, it appears to me you live in Indiana and you read. She's like, we're under the assumption that people in Indiana don't know how to read anymore. And I'm like, well, they're working on that.
They're trying.
My understanding is it trickles down.
Right. Sure.
That people in Michigan think people in Indiana are a bunch of, like, hillbillies.
Right. And then...
in Indiana think it's Kentucky.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, now, having married a man from Kentucky, they think it's Tennessee.
Right. Okay. Yeah. No, this is a nice passing of the buck.
I'm sure it continues. Right. But that's as far as I know.
All the way to Florida.
My daughter's in Tennessee. Yes, they feel that way about Alabama.
Right. There you go. Yeah. Poor Florida. We know what they've done.
It's Florida.
That may be a little deserved.
Right? Yeah. No, this is fair. Exactly. All right. Did you have both of yours? Or all 7 of yours?
One is fine. Or a million.
But
it's
good.
good.
I'm just...
yes. Oh, Department of Education was the... Yeah. Oh, yeah. Deservedly so. Yeah.
Like that we're just not going to educate some people now.
Right? So they can believe anything.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
But no, I worry about people who go to public school. Some people that love public schools, and that's like the choice they would make anyway.
Yeah, right.
There's some people who rely on public schools, and that is pretty much their only choice. For education, especially these kids that get free lunches. And stuff like that.
It's the only warm meal that they have.
If they cannot afford lunch, you think they can afford private schools?
Right, exactly,
Well, there's the in-between option that they're marketing, which is charter, because there's no fee to go to charter, but they can run them like a business.
Yes.
Yeah. Because that works.
No, it's not a free market thing.
I'm
but
worried there's just going to be a whole bunch of kids who are going to not get educated, essentially.
Right.
Fall through the cracks, either because the school's just denying them access.
Right.
Or because they just cannot logistically get to a school. And then I worry about parents getting arrested for not sending their kids to school.
Right.
Which is probably going to be disproportionately
to minorities
of color.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, and any kind of poor community, any kind of community with less resources.
Yeah.
Exactly. See that.
I grew up near Hancock County. There are 4 schools in that whole county.
Yeah.
It is a long bus ride to get to any of those schools.
Right.
They're all public schools.
Yeah. They're not going to bring a charter school in for, my
husband goes to the much darker spot where he goes, doesn't matter, because the kids are going to be in work camps. And I'm like, my God.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
My God.
I mean,
I know, but
saying it, but I get it.
Just stop.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I know we're at the end of days, or sometimes it feels that way, but come on.
Right,
Come on,
exactly.
babe.
Give me that glimmer. Like, is there a middle way? Is there a hope out of? Yeah.
Figure it out.
Mhm. This is
Well,
very
according
true.
to RFK, I'm going to be at the farm because of all my mental health issues.
Right,
You know, he doesn't like all
Yeah.
the drugs I take to,
Yep.
to keep this brain clicking. So,
Yeah.
His is doing so well.
yeah. Well, I figure once I work hard enough,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I'm going to be cured.
Yes. You just gotta
Once I
work
work hard
harder.
enough at the farm.
Yeah.
And get sunshine.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
there
That
you
vitamin D. Just
Yeah.
soaking it all in. The cod liver oil. Cured.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Cured.
What about you? What is your?
I'm cured.
What you're already
I'm
cured.
cured.
But just in case.
You know, I mean, there's a list, right?
Yeah.
But I guess lately I've been thinking kind of back to basics, and I was born in early 80s.
Mhm.
And so my interpretation is the basic rights of having bodily autonomy.
Oh, what's that?
Because I was born, you know, after Roe
I would
v.
know. Right.
Yeah.
After Roe v. Wade was passed
Right.
in the
Remember
law.
those days? Yeah.
Right, but we're not there anymore. So we're
Right.
back to not having
Mhm.
bodily autonomy,
Yeah.
control over our reproductive
Yeah.
decisions.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where in my community and my
That's a great one. Yes.
Yeah. it
yes
is.
Mhm.
that I'm going on a life and more personal level.
Mhm.
Once again, love my dear husband. But I have been tortured
Mhm.
for years with invisible workload.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
yes.
my attempts to explain it
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Mhm.
Exactly.
don't seem to really process. Like just
Yes.
the little examples. The other day I was told we're almost out of coffee filters. I thought, what would it be
Go
like
get
to
them.
be in a world where you see there is no coffee filters and
Yeah.
you just get coffee filters instead
Yeah.
of living in a world where there's no coffee filters, so it's time to tell your wife,
Mm-hmm.
we need coffee filters.
Why don't you fix that problem?
Boy,
I
once
feel
again,
so
I love
bad for my husband because I get shitty. He tries to pull that. I'm like, yeah, you should get some of those. Like
Mhm. And then you
Snap back and
distinctly will be like, "Oh, I forgot to buy them
Yeah.
again."
But you know what? I am working on them. I sent him the link on Amazon and I'm like, order these.
Right? Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I did have to do a little management and
Yeah.
orchestration.
Very nice.
But I was like, so here's
Right.
your solution.
Yes. There
Save
you go.
this.
I gotta
Wish
admit,
list.
I got really lucky in the husband department
There you
because
go.
he will put things on the list.
Yeah.
He will put the things on the list that I say, hey, I think we're running low on, and he will put it on there so that when we get to the store, it's
See?
actually on the list so we remember to get it.
Yay.
So I got lucky.
Shared household.
But,
Yeah.
you know, it took 3 tries to get it
Yeah,
right, but I
there
love
you
this
go.
husband.
Right. There you go.
I'm on number 2.
Yeah.
Third time's the charm, hey?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hey.
I mean, you got to do what you
No.
gotta do.
I do love my dear
He's
husband, but
adorable.
I
Yes.
think like many women, why I mention it is I think many women
The invisible
experience
labor.
this
Yeah.
in their household. And it's not even like the remembering of things or the doing of things, but even the emotional load.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, processing
usually
maybe
what'll
if you have
crack
children.
me.
Yeah, the kids,
Mhm.
or you know, I had a really hard mental health day a few Saturdays ago, and I realized it was because everybody in my household was losing it,
Right.
and I had to try to help them regulate themselves.
It's the
Yeah.
Which
put the
took a toll.
oxygen mask on yourself
Yeah.
first before you help others with their oxygen mask, and that's the last thing that we do. And then
Yeah.
we can't breathe while
Yeah.
we're trying to, because we've already helped everybody else first. Yeah.
I've gone to sick places though. I have to tell you guys because I was cracking up. On that day, I was like, maybe if I did some light dusting, it would make me feel better. I'd calm down. Yeah, no, I'm like,
I will rage quit.
yeah, that's.
I can't remember
I've
which
gone to that deep.
comedian
Place.
talked about her mother always said, just put on lipstick. Just put on lipstick and it'll make it all better. And so
I
it's the
want a happy
comedian going,
face.
talking about everything like basically being destroyed. You know, the rent can't be paid. There's no grocery. There's nothing to eat. You know, out of
Yeah.
a job. I'll just put on lipstick and I'll be fine. And so,
Oh.
exactly. Yeah. No amount of fixing that.
There does seem to be a movement of teaching young boys in particular.
Yes.
I'm not
How
sure
to do
that
the
I've seen-
laundry. How
Well-
to make a grocery list.
Squashing the what is that called? It's something incompetence.
Gotcha.
What is that called?
Weaponized incompetence.
Yes.
Oh.
What?
These mothers
Weaponized incompetence. Yeah.
Wow.
Mothers are squashing that shit in the bud.
Nice.
Yes.
It's
you're
where,
not doing this to your future partner.
Yeah.
Yeah, your
Exactly.
future partner expects you to cook a meal, and you're like, and the future husband's like, I don't know how. Well, nope.
Yeah.
You do know
Well,
how.
I get like when you're a
Awesome.
kid, you're like learning to do these things, but when they're like, they suddenly don't know how to do dishes.
Uh-huh.
When they did dishes, a year ago,
Sure.
it's like, no, this is not a thing.
Yeah. Again, love my husband. He cooks. His mother was not a good cook, so his dad took over. So, my husband learned to cook.
We all have different sets of skills. Right, exactly. Yeah.
And I think that's it, too. None of it can even be a more traditional division of labor as long as it's a partnership.
Yeah. Right, that's
like,
the thing.
It feels like everybody is putting in the work.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it
And
can be
using
a
their
flip-flop.
strengths for what
Yeah.
they're good for and pulling back and sharing
Like,
the
your house
weaknesses.
is a beautiful jungle of foliage because your
It is.
husband plants everything and makes it look that way.
Yeah.
And I wish my house looked so overgrown with...
Sure, with
No,
foliage.
I'm just joking.
Yeah.
No, it is beautiful.
I will say we also had a corpse flower.
Yeah, I was gonna ask how the stinky
What?
flower
Those
was.
are
A
delicious.
corpse flower, when it blooms, smells like probably 72 farts in a Dutch oven and is in your house.
Oh,
No.
So you take the good, you take the bad, and there you have the plants in my house.
Yeah. And there's nothing perfect. And I think like the best partnership is when you can like talk and adjust, talk and adjust, talk and adjust.
Like putting
so,
the corpse flower in his room while he's in Pittsburgh, so I don't have to smell it.
That's a good adjustment. Yeah. Did you pivot?
Yes.
That's just been my word of the night.
I know.
You did a pivot. You're like, it's
yeah. Well, I said I was
Solution.
going to put the stinky flower outside, and he was very sad about it. So I'm like, so in your room it goes.
There you go.
Two choices.
There you go.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, speaking of these,
Who do you have for
more,
us?
I don't know if you'd even say these are modern issues because they're issues that have been around for hundreds of
they're
years.
just by different names,
However,
different
right,
definitions,
we have a lot of issues now. We have things resurfacing that we felt like we had already
didn't we fix this?
accomplished.
Yeah, I
We'd
thought
already
we were good with this
squashed,
one.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I love when we can go back into history and find women who inspire us.
Yeah.
Super important. But also kind of right now when we're so focused on the now.
Yeah.
Of course, those women from the past can inspire us.
Yes.
But it's good to know that there's people speaking up in the moment.
That is an
That
excellent
we have,
segue, Katie.
yes,
Look
that
at
we
you.
have women.
Somebody in the now.
You know, maybe our contemporaries, our age, or women even younger who are coming up that are going to help boost the movement, help make the change.
Or fix this shit.
Or fix the shit. So I'm going to be talking to you about somebody who was born in 2002.
Oh.
The year I graduated high school.
Wow.
Amazing.
So she's only 22 years old right now.
Right.
She's the baby.
She's Tammy's age.
Baby. And 4 years ago in 2020, when she was just 18, she was named one of the BBC's 100 Women for 2020.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's
An 18-year-old killing it because I was not at 18.
Right?
I wasn't either.
Same.
So kudos.
Same.
I was killing my life at
Right, exactly. I was being dumb.
I'm going to introduce you guys to Rima Sultana Rimu.
Ooh.
Ryu.
Yes.
I looked all over the internet for how to pronounce that for you guys,
Right.
even though I knew
Thank
I'd
you.
still butcher it. Could not find it.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Yeah, and I was kind of warning the group here, the gals, that this might be a little bit short because I'm like, she's on the BBC Top 100 Women list. I'm going to be able to find
a
all
whole
kinds
bunch.
of info. Turns out, perhaps the internet and news media might not be so concerned about women from Bangladesh
All right.
Oh.
who are
They should do
young
better.
activists.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Yes.
Yes.
But tell us what you have found,
Yes,
though.
absolutely. So she was born in the Chittagong division of Bangladesh
Sweet.
into a peasant farming family.
Oh, farmers again.
I
Yeah, like
know.
it. Yes.
And I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's important to realize that motivation, inspiration can come from all walks of life.
Yeah.
I know we have a lot of women who have been encouraged by educated families to do things, but you know, any family that I think is supportive or tortures you enough
Right.
Yeah.
will radicalize you, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, there's all kinds of ways. But yes, she was born into a peasant farming family.
Gotcha.
She had access to education, but she also lived in a culture that encouraged, I don't know, what do they call it? Young marriages, youth marriages.
Oh, yeah. Child
baby
bride.
marriages, child brides. Yeah. All of that.
Tough.
However, she kind of saw a path for herself early on. And she joined the Global Network of Women Peace Builders.
Nice.
So, and through that, she ended up, it's a organization supported by the UN Women.
Oh, yay.
Oh. And so when she joined this group, she kind of found her role by visiting the Rohingya refugee camp in Cox's Bazar.
Gotcha.
And that's one of the largest refugee camps in the world.
Yeah, it is.
Right now, there's around 400,000 youth in that camp that aren't getting access to education.
Yeah.
So her goal was to go into that camp and educate the children in that camp, because she feels very strongly that women, to fight for equality, they have to have the education.
Yeah,
they have to have access to that. So that has been her goal.
Nice.
So in that camp, statistically, that there's 50% of the children under the age of 12 who have never received any formal education.
Oh, yeah.
So she went in and worked on literacy and numeracy initiatives, as well as spreading awareness about issues including child marriage, dowries, domestic abuse, among the women. That wasn't for the children.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Children were the education part. The women, she talked about
life skills.
Like,
survival skills. Yeah.
To do it. Also very creative and cool. She also used radio broadcasts and plays to spread awareness about those issues, like those cultural issues.
Sweet.
That's kind of the bulk of her bare bones life.
Right,
but I think what I found the most...
that's a lot more than what I did at 18.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But I think what I found the most information and inspiration in were her own words.
Yes.
So I won't read you everything verbatim, but I'm going to read some of them because I think it really shows you where her motivation and her activism for equality lie.
Yeah.
She says, when I look around me, I see that women and girls in Rohingya community are treated as less than men and are not given the same rights and opportunities. Their culture is very traditional and they have endured conflict, violence, and displacement. When girls and women are not treated as equals, there can be no real chance of achieving a strong and peaceful society. Mm-hmm. On a daily basis, girls in the camps face many issues: child marriage, street harassment, and sexual violence. I feel I have a duty to do something to try and make life easier for refugee women and girls and to try to create a more peaceful and equal society. She also mentions that when she first started speaking out about these issues, some of her family members didn't like it and said she was disrespecting her religion and not behaving correctly.
That's that being small shit.
Right. But her response was that she enjoys the challenge of trying to change people's minds.
Yes.
She said that luckily I think I was born determined, which helps me keep doing my work.
Which other people will label as difficult, but I like determined instead.
Yeah, right, exactly.
In my tough shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Fuck around and find out.
Shit.
I dig it.
She mentions that most of the women and girls in the Rohingya community can't read or write, so they cannot fully understand their rights.
Yeah.
Many of them are forced to leave school at a very young age. It means they can be dismissed as uneducated, and if they're facing harassment or violence, they may not feel they can report it or seek justice.
Yeah, the shame.
Without education, girls struggle to become economically empowered, which means they will never be in control of their own futures. Mm-hmm. Teaching girls how to read and write is one of the biggest ways I can make a difference.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah. It's amazing. And that will save a lot of lives. Yeah.
Someone needs to get her and Malala in the same fucking room.
I know, right? Yeah. Add Greta in there too.
At the end of this kind of blog,
this generation does, an
article, I love this. She said, "At the moment, I feel very positive and strong. I love this work and I have big plans for myself. I want to study history and write a book of poetry. Maybe one day I'll even be Prime Minister of Bangladesh. Why not? I will not stop until every woman and girl becomes aware of their rights and can live happily and safely as equals."
Yes!
So once I read that, I knew I had to talk about her for Equality Month because she definitely has the passion and drive to help women in Bangladesh
exactly
achieve equality.
And we might see her, up in grand positions of power.
Yeah.
Or read her poetry, or both.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'd be fine with any of the above.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
All of
Ecstatic.
it.
So
why not a bit of all of it? So
Yes.
no, I
I
love
like it.
that it's that it's another generation. It's somebody who's doing and kicking ass like right now.
yeah, we need our women who came before us to inspire us and blaze the trail, show us what can be done.
Exactly.
But we also need to know the women around us that they want to stand up and they want to make change.
Exactly.
So-
And hold space for them as well.
Yeah,
And-
absolutely.
And that's where places like this library
Right.
helps, because we can't know about the women who came before us
If we can't
if we
read
can't
about
read
it, if we can't
read
find
about
it.
them and
Yeah.
the stories.
Mhm.
And it's stories like these that inspire women like her.
Right, exactly. And the next, and the
And the
next, and the next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she even mentions in one of the articles that I've already shut down my stuff. Sorry, guys.
You're good.
But there was a prime minister, a woman prime minister that inspired her.
Oh, nice.
That was the reason I think she felt like the call to join up with the UN organization she's part of.
If you can see it, you can be it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it comes
Beautiful.
right back to it.
Yeah. Kind
I
of
love
like the Whoopi Goldberg story about seeing Uhura on Star Trek.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, she's not a maid.
She's not a maid and she's on television.
Yes.
And then inspiration.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, do you want to wrap us up for the month,
Oh
for
my
Equality
gosh.
Month and Women's History
Absolutely.
Month? Sweet.
That wraps up Equality Month. Join us next week as we learn about women who embody creative expression, a powerful tool in rebellion, allowing individuals to challenge norms and convey dissent through art, music, literature, and fashion. Thanks for listening.
Want to learn about more women of history? Gals Guide opened a unique women's history lending library. Come visit and explore our collection. Learn more at galsguide.org. Thanks for listening.